a couple of housekeeping things. I know it's been a while. I had my 23rd birthday in August and we went on vacation and I just wanted a little break. So before we get into the video, this video is sponsored by Book of the Month. You guys know that I love Book of the Month, and actually this is my 1-year anniversary of working with Book of the Month. Book of the Month is a super popular, fast, online growing book service. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and to help readers discover new books. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles, so you can spend more time reading and less time researching. Book of the Month is risk-free, so you can skip any month at any time and you will not be charged. They have the best new release hardcover fiction, and you can get your first book for $9.99 using the code Mayana. And so now let's get into the 5 books. So the first book we have is The Neighbor's Secret, and this one is a early release. A suburban book club discovers life can be more disturbing than fiction when a vandal disrupts life on the cul-de-sac, and this one is a contemporary fiction. Next book is Rock, Paper, Scissors, and this one is a thriller. When a remote anniversary getaway turns eerie, a couple learns their marriage can bear the weight of their secrets. So the next book I have is The Sweetest Remedy, and this one is also a contemporary fiction. This is a repeat author. An unexpected loss leads to a young woman in a soul-searching journey to reconnect with the Nigerian family and find herself. The next book is Beautiful Country, and this one is a memoir, and it is a debut novel, a moving memoir filtered through a child's eyes about a Chinese family struggling in the shadow of American dream. And the last book, and the book that I am most excited for, is The Love Hypothesis. And this one is a romance, and a fake relationship generates real sparks. A rising scientist must decide if she can experiment with love. And like I said, I'm so excited for this one. So yeah, thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. The link to Book of the Month and my code will be in the description. And now back onto the video. I have so many fall videos planned for you guys. Like, I think in October I'm gonna have to start uploading like every 4 days because I have so much material. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna be doing my August wrap up. I only read like 10 books. I didn't even read my book club book. I'm gonna be reading that now in September. This video is gonna be my wrap up, and I have a TBR for September, and then I'm going to be doing an announcement for my vampathon readathon that me, Jody, Mika, and Christina did last year, and we're now adding Kat from Bambina Katarina onto it, which I'm so excited for because I adore her. So I'll be talking about that later. So we're just gonna get into the wrap-up portion now. So if I can remember correctly, I read this book in July, I know that, but I think I uploaded my July video pretty early. I read Not a Happy Family, which is a Book of the Month book. One thing I'm gonna do is read my Book of the Month romance books and my Book of the Month thrillers, okay? So anyway, this book is about this family, and there's 3 kids, and you know, mom and dad, and the kids, they're grown, they're adults, by the way. They're going to their mom and dad's house for Easter dinner, which is like the only time they really see their parents these days because they don't really go over there to see them, and their parents are super freaking rich, right? The next day, parents come up dead. So you are following this investigation to see like who did it. I gave this book Goodreads loads so freaking slow, man. Like, I feel like a snail could move faster than Goodreads loads. Okay, so I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like the book was good. They did have some plot twists. The plot twist itself, like the final plot twist, wasn't that good, but it was like a fun experience. I read this at work and I had the time of my life during that shift. Like, reading thrillers at work is like one of my favorite things ever because it's like I'm fighting like this gasp, and like I'm just walking around being like, oh my gosh. Like, I just have my mask on so you can't see my face, which makes things even better. So good. It was very fun, but I feel like it was pretty predictable and it brought nothing new to the table. And I have read a Sherry Lapina book before, and now that like I've only read one of her books. Now that I've read two, I'm starting to see a pattern, and like her plot twists are really predictable, and it seems like she doesn't put in a lot of effort to like make people shocked and at the end. And I know that's probably like a me problem, because for me, I read thrillers based on like what shocks me the most, or like the ending plot twist, and like see like being little hints there, and like at the end, like I feel like I thought one of the plotlines I thought would have happened, if that would have happened, it would have made the book like, even like a 4.5 star. But it was just like so predictable and boring, and like I said, it brought nothing new to the table. So actually in August, I read Such a Quiet Place, and I got this one at Target where I work, and it has the Target only sticker on it, and it has exclusive prologue, which I didn't listen to because I was listening to this audiobook at work, and I was like, oh my gosh, this book is so good. So I bought it on my lunch break, which I was halfway through the book at that point, and then I ended up giving this book 3 stars, and I don't regret buying it, because this book, I think I would give this book more, I think I want to change it to like a 3.5 or a 4, because this one was so much better than, I'm only comparing them because I read them back to back. This one is so much better than Not a Happily Family. This one is about this neighborhood. I love neighborhood thrillers, I'm finding out. So this one is about this neighborhood, and this girl, she went to jail for something, which it's slowly uncovering what she went to jail for. So this girl went to jail for something, and she's coming back home, and this is very like close-knit neighborhood, and they always do things together, and they're kind of outcasting her now. And she lived with the main character, so the main character is seeing her roommate come back, and a lot of things are unrevealing themselves, and there's like this huge mystery that went on. Now in the end, I did not like the plot twist in the end. It wasn't really a plot twist basically, so I didn't like how it ended. But that's on me. I will full take responsibility. Like, I will expected more from it, and the book was still good. Like, the book had twists, and it had turns, and it was just so good. It was really good. And I love neighborhood thrillers because you got to find out like the secrets in everybody else's lives. Like, that's why I want to live in like one of these little white neighborhoods, because everybody has secrets, everybody has something that they're hiding, everybody has something that they don't want other people to know. I want to know it. So knowing the tea of like everything that happened in this town for everyone was just like so fun to me. I loved it. Next book I read is The Fine Print, and this one is, the series is called Dreamland Billionaires. I gave this one 3 stars. So it's basically the story, and it's equivalent to Disneyland, which is so funny because I went to Disney World for my 23rd birthday, and I know y'all probably like, I'm not a Disney adult, I promise y'all. I only want to go because we hadn't been in 10 years. We always go to Universal Studios, and we never go to Disney World because we're not kids. Like, none of my mom kids are like children anymore. But because it's been 10 years and there's so many things that have been changed and updated, we wanted to go. So it's so ironic that I read this, like, and I kept thinking about the book when I read it, when I went to Disney World. It was so funny. I didn't read this one on vacation. I didn't read anything on vacation, but I read it a little bit before, and it was just so funny. Like, anyways, so it's essentially like Disneyland, except that doesn't exist here. It's called Dreamland, and this guy's grandfather dies, so he is now taking over like the amusement park, and he's talking to this girl. Well, and then he's like changing things up, so then he meets this girl, and she doesn't like him. There's just one thing in this book I specifically remember not liking, and it didn't make any sense to me, because I've seen this on Twitter a lot, but a lot of people are liking that, like, the dual POVs and new adult romances. I freaking hate dual POVs, because I feel like female authors, like, they know how to write male characters. If I said female, women authors, they know how to write male characters like from the perspective of a woman, like, and making them seem great in the eyes of a woman. But I think with new adult romances, where women authors mess up is that they write from the perspective of a man, and it's like, I don't know how men think, but I don't think men don't think like this, and I don't think you know how men think either, because they don't think like they be making them corny. Like LJ Shin, oh my gosh, it's so hard getting through her romances sometimes because she makes them so corny, but corny in like the manly way. Like, there's 2 sides to the corny spectrum. You can be corny and like dorky, or you can be like too much manly and dorky. And so this book was really corny because you're reading from his perspective, and there's this scene where he's holding this meeting, and the main female character does not know this man, mind you. She does not know who he is. She's complaining like, oh yeah, like, they're just rich people, they don't care about us, because she works there. if I didn't say that. She works there, and she's like, oh yeah, he doesn't, the people who own this business don't care about us, they just want money and blase blase. And I'm really talking to y'all like we on FaceTime right now. But so yeah, and then he's like, if she's trying to appeal to my humanity, she might die trying. People in my position don't lead with their hearts, because we would never be satisfied with something so ridiculous. Why are you trying to prove to us how heartless he is? Like, she does not, the main character does not know who he is. She's not trying to appeal to him any kind of way. So it's like, I was a bit confused during that line, because authors, new adult romance authors, always want to prove how heartless the male characters are, but it's never like making any sense, because the main female character does not know who he is at this point. Anyways, back onto the book. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars because it was pretty much okay. Like, it wasn't anything new. It is a POC. I don't want to say POC, it's an interracial love. I don't know what the main character is, but she is a person of color, and then the love interest is white. But I'm gonna check out the author's other books. This one just wasn't like, it was just like alright. It was super slow, and I was getting bored. And it's like, sometimes when you read so many romances and it's not, it is a really good idea, but romance wise it wasn't bringing anything new to the table. Like, I finally read American Gods, so I'm so proud of myself. My sister loves American Gods. It's like her favorite show. I bought her this book for her birthday, and I bought one for myself because I know how much she loves it. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, guys. I just felt like my expectations were set so high. So yeah, if you don't know what American Gods is, it's about the main character who is getting out of jail, and he's like, yeah, I'm about to go home to my wife. I got me a job with my bestie, like my life is set. Bam, his bestie and his wife are on the way to get him. They both die. Bam, he finds out that they died because she was giving him being his bestie head on the way there, and they crashed. Sick. So then he ends up finding out that he is a demigod, and he's working with this guy, and they're going on different adventures, and just different things are happening. And I don't know, I liked it. I think I had so much potential in my mind, and I did like the characters, but I didn't like the characters enough, you know. I love the main character. I'm so in love with Shadow. That is a man. Okay, so next I read For Your Own Good, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I love this so much. So it's not really a dark academia. There's this prestigious high school, and it's the perspective of the teachers and not the students, which I thought was really, really good. So one of the parents ends up dying, and then they suspect it's her daughter, but then other people at the school just start dropping like flies, and they're like, hold on. So it follows a different group of people, so it's not really a main character. And you do get the school side, like from a student, you do get the student perspective, but you more so get the teacher's perspective. I mean, until they start dropping like flies, and yeah. So I personally really liked it. I kind of just wish I had more from the ending, but one of the teachers is a psychopath, and I loved him. Like, he was just so insane. I could not help to, like, it was funny. He was so insane, it was funny. And so the next book I read was, I finally read the 3rd book in the Vampire Academy. So actually, I read this one before the casting was announced for Vampire Academy, but now that the casting has announced, I have to read the rest, because we are getting, I gotta show y'all, we're getting a Black Rose, okay? And we're like, the girl who plays Lisa also was in Every Which Way, which I love that show. I was in high school watching that with my little brother. Like, that show is it, okay? Don't judge me. The guy who's playing Christian was in Degrassi. I did a TikTok about it, and I said I knew that Julie Plec was gonna make Rose a Black woman because she wants to make up for what she did to Bonnie. Julie Plec is getting hate to this day, so I feel like she thinks, oh, if I cast a Black woman as Rose, then like Black people will forgive me. I'm not going to, but because Cat Graham did not deserve that. But I actually am really excited for a Black Rose, guys. Rose is like one of my favorite characters ever. Like, she's such a badass. But anyways, yeah, so the 3rd book, I finally read it. I can't say much about it because it is the 3rd book in a series, but now I have 3 more books to go, and then I can read Bloodlines with my boo Adrian, you know. So the next book I read is The Iron King, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. At this point, I was reading, and I was like, dang, all the books I'm reading are 3 stars. Like, where are the 5 stars, you know? And so this one is a really old fantasy book, white fantasy book about fae, and it is about this girl who brother gets kidnapped, so she has to go into the fairy world. and she's trying to find back her brother, and she also discovers that she is half fae, half human, and that her best friend in high school is actually also a fae, and he's actually like a really known like character that was told in fairy tales. And once they're in this world, you discover that these things called this man called the Iron King, because fae are like, iron is like repellent to fae. Like they, like if they touch iron, they're gonna like die. It's like water and the witch, you know, she's like, I'm melting. It's like that for fae. And so I gave this book 3 stars. It has a love triangle. I thought that like the prince, the fairy prince Ash was like okay. I guess because I'm so used to enemies to lovers, and I don't blame the author for this, but it just felt like they didn't have any chemistry. Like it just was like, oh, he went from trying to kill her to like being interested in her, and their relationship was so unique. I think I just started to describe, but I just wasn't feeling it. And I feel like something in general from this book was missing. Like I liked it. I like people I know with the main character. I like the main character. I even like how things came around in the end of the book. Girl that got turned into a pig, like had a pig nose, and how at the end of the book you end up meeting her and they become friends and all this stuff. But I just feel like something was missing. So then I did actually read the second book, The Iron Daughter, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. But this one hurt me because I thought that I was gonna love this book, right? Because at the end of the first book, something happens to where Ash and Megan, the main character, now hate each other, and he's being so ruthless to her. Like he's like, girl, I don't want you, I was just faking it, blase blase. And she's like, okay, if you're faking it, like I'm about to become cold. He apologizes way too soon in the book, like 25%. By that point I was so annoyed because I saw the potential, like the real enemies to lovers potential that they could have had, and it just didn't happen. And then it also towards the end introduced like the love triangle aspect, which you know she's not gonna get with the best friend like at all. Like there's no hope. And I forget that like old books like this, they did that thing a lot where it's like you knew who the main character was gonna get with, but the author tried to be like, oh, who, you know, keep you on your toes. But it's like, bitch, I know, like, you know, I know, especially because I read the description to the spin-off, so I know who she's gonna pick. And it's just like, it's not giving what I wanted to give. So, and I also read Games We Played, which if you know me, you know I love gamers, okay? This one is a gamer's romance. It was 90 pages on my iPad. It says 100 pages, 130 pages on a Kindle. Like it's a real fast read. Of course I pick it up because I love gamers. I just think that like the ones that are cute, they are cute, okay? So this one is about this guy, and he's kind of like Corpse husband, you know, deep sexy voice, and you know you can't really see his face. So the main character is going to interview him, and they start this like sexual thing that develops into actual romance. And it was written, this author, I give this book 5 stars because this author wrote so much in 130 pages. Like she literally wrote, I've read more from her than what I've gotten from other authors in a series. So in this book, like you get like both character backstories. He has a whole friend group, and this one is a series, so the friend group, there's them and their backstories are slowly introduced, so you can like know better about like their romance and all this stuff. And I'm like, dang, like that's really good. And then the last book I read was Bitter Heat, and this one is a second chance romance, which I love, between a married couple. Well, they're divorced. So they're divorced, and the main character, his mom had a heart attack, but the girl, the main girl, she's the one that was there. And he ends up coming, and they've been divorced for 5 years. They had a really bad divorce, and they've been divorced for 5 years, so they're seeing each other for the first time, and it's snowing, and they're trapped in a cabin together. And then they go back, and you find out in the book that she's basically like a billionaire princess, basically. And he bought her dad dies, and he bought the shares to one of her companies, so it's her sister's fault. So she remarries him in order to fix everything, and it's really good. But this was a duology, and the sequel's not out yet, but the first book was written in 2019. Now, after I read this book, I had to go stalk the author, and she is writing the book. She says she broke her arm, and it also was her 33rd birthday, so she has to like take breaks whenever her arm gets like tired. So you know, I can't be mad at it. It was such a good book. It was so good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So now we're gonna get into my TBR, just because I feel like this video is gonna be so short. So I have Vespertine, which I haven't asked for per. I'm really excited to read this. I thought that this book had romance in it until I got the book, and then I read some reviews and people were like, oh, this book doesn't have any romance, and I was like, oh. But actually I'm really excited because it's inspired by Venom, and I am in love with Venom, and I've already read 114 pages, and I can already see the similarities with Venom, and I actually really like thing. So basically it's about this girl, and she is a nun, and something happens to where the nuns give her this, she's starting to be a Grace sister, and something happens to where they give her this ancient spirit bound to a saint's relic, and it's a revenant, and basically she has to take care of it now and like protect it, and it like has like a spirit, and like they always argue, and it's actually really funny. Like, it has made me laugh. But it's like, I don't know why I'm acting like this, because I'm not the kind of person who needs romance to read a book. I just know what Margaret Rogerson does with her romance. So because I'm not getting that, I'm a bit sad. But I'm not going to let that deter me, because, you know, I read adult fantasy, and a lot of the adult fantasies don't have romance, or they don't have good romance. So that does not bother me at all. And then I have The Queen of Blood, because I am obsessed with this cover. I read at the Bone Maker last month, so I've heard good talks about this book, so I want to get to this soon. And then I have The Shining, just because me and my sister decided we wanted to pick up some Stephen King. She read Misery, and now my mom's reading Misery, and at first I was like, yeah, I need to read Misery. My mom's not even reading Misery, so I have, but yeah, so I'm reading The Shining. I can get to it because Stephen King's description just be sending me, you know. The Bone of Ruins, and I forgot what this one is about, but it's written by a black author and a black main character, and this cover is absolutely stunning, so I have to get to it, period. I don't think I have any romances in this pile, like in my TBR, because I do want to read the Deal, and also I want to read The Last Graduate. I have an article of that, and I want to read the Off-Campus series, but that's pretty much it. And I do want to read the Sundown Motel, because this one, someone said it was like a slasher, and I do want to read a slasher reading vlog, so I don't know if I'm going to read this for that or just read it for fun, but whatever. I have Gideon the Ninth, because it is now getting closer to next year, and the only reason I haven't picked this up is because the author didn't release the 3rd book this year, and I'm not going to set myself up to wait for a book, especially because I know I'm gonna like it, so I was pushing off. But now it's time I start, you know, getting into it. I also want to read The Blade itself, and because I really have not read this yet, and it's taking me forever to pick this up. I want to read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which is about these college graduates who are coming back for their 10-year anniversary. So lastly, to end off the video, I'm going to be talking about the readathon that I'm going to be doing with Jody, Mika, Christina, and Katarina. And so this is a vampathon, and it'll be from October 25th through the 31st, and we have a bunch of templates. We do have a Twitter, it's vampathon_, so like everything will be posted on it. We have a template for like the books that you read, and we have like different templates for, you know, different readers. So, you know, we have like the 4-box ones, 6-box ones, you know. So it is going to be a week, but we do have those. And then we have like a photo challenge, and then we have a vampathon bingo board, and Jody made all of these. She's literally so amazing. I am going to be vlogging vampathon this year. I just don't know if I don't think I'll do daily vlogs, so I have so many videos to plan, but I will be vlogging. I'm so excited. You guys know I love Halloween. I actually have not decorated for Halloween yet, because I only shop at Target for my decorations, and they haven't put their stuff up. And I do have my decorations from last year's, but there's spiders down there. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this video. Hope that you guys liked it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.